Okay, hello everybody, and welcome to the fifth week of the EDL Podcast. This is your host, Exernian, and today I'm joined by members Lespanx, Mystic, Xygon, who we're going to be referring to as Potter, and Zilliek from Revolution Silver. So, first off, we're just going to go with some introductions, and we'll start with Lespanx.
Hey, I'm Lespanx. I'm the ADC for Revolution.
Perfect. Down the line, it's Mystic.
Hey yo, this is Mystic. Hi guys.
Yep, and then Potter next, and then Zilliek.
Well, hello, my name is Potter.
This is Zilliek, aka Zill, for Revolution Esports. I'm the top laner.
All right. Yeah, thanks for being on this week's podcast, even though it is a bit different for your team. I know that this is, you guys aren't in playoffs and we're kind of on the tail end here, but thanks again for joining me. And I guess the first things first is, why did you guys join EDL? Like, we're a new league, we're just kind of new to the scene in general. I mean, this is my first time actually being an admin for the league and just helping out in general, so you guys wanted to kind of elaborate on that.
So I'm gonna actually.
You can answer it.
No, I was actually just gonna say that I think you guys should answer it since I was quite literally an e-sub.
So I think it started out. Tex, the part owner of Rev, wanted to get like a sort of practice league for IBS, the IBS team. It turned out to have a little bit of a different roster due to roster changes between both teams. And he just wanted us to have like a league we could not feel as much pressure in, maybe, and just relax a little bit more. So I think that's why he signed up Rev for this.
Okay, yeah, it's pretty similar actually to a lot of the other teams. Monkeys in Training, they did have a different starting roster coming into the league, and then they kind of just slapped all 5 of their subs together, and then they're like, "Yep, you're the EDL roster." But yeah, okay, I understand that. I think it's nice to just kind of have new teams and new faces in the scene. And I'm not the one who actually created the league. That's more so Clutch. But basically, his idea for the whole league was, there are no really IBS leagues out there. There's, ZGG, but there aren't too many others like as options, right? So I don't know. And I felt that ZGG's nothing against them. It's more so they're just diluted because they have gold and plaid and like so many other things going on. I felt that it was important to have just an IBS league to start, because I feel like you guys get kind of left behind when it comes to the whole amateur scene. Yeah, but we are just gonna go straight into your guys' whole season. So first off, what I'm understanding from your guys' match histories and overall record is, I do remember, actually, I did get to watch the second and your third game of the first week. So that was the week you guys beat Burger Flip the first game, lost to them the second game, and then won the third game, if I'm remembering correctly. So
Yes.
So what do you guys think happened, like, just from the first week? Because I do remember you guys played really well.
Yeah, so if I could speak on this a little bit, the first week that we were in it, against Burger Flip, we kind of had a general strategy that we wanted to go with. Our draft coach knew that I was really comfortable on like carry top laners, so we were going to look at something like Camille up in the top lane. And I don't remember exactly what the drafts look like, but the synergy between me on top lane and Potter in the jungle was really, really good. So we were going to look to try to play strong side top, get me ahead, and then have me influence the map from then on out. I remember the second game, we ended up drafting kind of a bad comp, honestly. We just didn't have like a whole lot of damage to be able to take out their comp, and it was kind of difficult there. But our kind of main goal was to tilt their top laner, if I'm being completely honest.
It pretty much
Can't say that's
worked.
facts.
Yeah, it did kind of work. So he left.
Yeah,
Although the
our-
second game, me picking up 6 kills in the early game didn't really help.
Yeah, it's funny because our whole goal that game was like, okay, so we heard that a lot of the comms for their team comes through their like top and jungle or something like that. So I was like, all right, let's tilt the top laner to where he completely shuts down. They lose comms, so we can pick it up from there. And that was kind of like just the baseline. And funny story is their top laner for Burger Flip actually is our jungler now for the IBS team. So it all came back around full circle.
Oh, that's actually really funny. Yeah, I do remember just like watching the second and third game and seeing you guys were coming in really strong. And so then that leads into our second week actually. So second week MIT versus Rev. So I'm also trying to remember now, but on the pre-game show, I think it was like heavily favored and predicted towards a Revolution win. And
Yes, it was.
and like, I mean, yeah, again, what happened? Like, you guys were, obviously that was a stream match, you guys played against MIT, and, you know, what happened?
I'll let somebody else speak on this because I don't remember it 100%.
Neither.
I can pull up the match histories if you guys need some.
That'd be perfect. If you just tell us like what the draft was, I'll be like, oh yeah, this is what happened that game and stuff like that.
Hold on, let me open this here.
I know for the first game, they had a volley bear support.
Yeah, and that really threw Scruffo off, actually.
Oh, yeah, that was Fasting Senna. I remember that. Thievery and Crockpot played Fasting Senna, and they had volley bear support. Yes, I do remember that.
Yeah,
So that
just in general,
game.
like being able to go up against Crockpot, he's just a really phenomenal support player, in my opinion. For the leagues, he knows how to capitalize on positioning mistakes that we have. He knows how to set up engages perfectly for his team, and we just really struggled into that. And he just played really clean games, both games.
Honest to goodness, playing against him in the bot lane, we actually, I think there was a little, mind you, week 1 was my first week with this team. Obviously, I was pulled in an hour before as an e-sub. So, kind of a funny, awkward story there. But, it really worked out for us week 1. But then between week 1 and week 2, we actually didn't get to spend a whole lot of time together. I'm also on Feed the Dream for their IBS team. So, like, I'm only a sub over there, but I'm still pretty devoted to actually playing through with them as well. So we actually didn't get to spend a whole lot of time together in the bot lane. But Spanx and I actually, I think, did okay considering that we really aren't used to each other. Week 2 against the Volley Bear, against the Fasting Senna, there was just a lot of like miscommunication, not really understanding how to play against a Volley Bear support. And Crockpot was so able to capitalize on that every time. He was very, very good about it.
I'm pretty sure I ended like 3 kills pretty quickly.
I wasn't going to say anything, but...
I believe in week 2 is when we started trying to implicate new shot callers and seeing how we can play around with comms, having Mystic and Zilliek start comms. And at that time, I believe I had a headache. So comms were a little bit shaky in week 2, I believe.
Yeah, it's definitely hard because, like, I mean, you just get used to... I mean, obviously people shot call differently, and then you play around what they say, obviously. And it's different styles, different calls.
We were just trying to use this as a learning process and see how we can improve.
I say this to, like, every team I talk to. It's like EDL, like the, development league. It's not like like, we're all challenger league. So, yeah, it's nice. Like, I honestly think that I've seen a lot of improvement from every single player throughout the league. It warms my heart. Yeah, so then I guess after that, like, you guys lost the next week against Chicago Dragons, and I think it's not your guys' fault. I'm thinking because starting from the second week onwards, Chicago Dragons, they did kind of stabilize their roster. Coming into... Why? Okay, they flame me a lot for this, but basically Chicago Dragons came in as a rookie team, all of them with no competitive experience, and all of them were just, like, new to the scene in general, and we're kind of new to each other, but not really. And just, like, solo queue-wise, and just kind of raw skill, like, individually, they didn't seem super amazing on paper. And then, a part of why they're so successful right now is because, they started bringing in all these other players that all of them are just friends that they've just known for years and years.
hmm
So
yeah, so actually after our game against them, I think their support is Pink Penguin.
yeah, that is the one.
I think that's how you pronounce it.
He
he
told me it's
actually-
Pink Penguin, but I said
Oh, okay.
that's stupid. So
I prefer Penguin,
yeah, I
but
know.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, he actually messaged me after the game to kind of talk a little bit about how the games went, and it was actually really nice because this is actually my first split as doing anything competitive as well. So it was kind of nice just to talk to somebody, and we talked about the games a little bit. So I actually have a little bit of something there for you guys. But no, it was super nice talk, just because like he did say that they were all good friends in real life. So, that gave them the opportunity. They'd been playing together. They enjoy playing together. They have that going for them.
Mm-hmm. So if I'm
Yeah.
also correct here, so you guys you guys lost the first game, won the second, and then lost the third. So in that second game, when I talked to Chicago Dragons the other week, they did talk about this game as well. They said they weren't exactly sure how to play around with their draft. They had Evelyn picked, and then they didn't play around that pick properly because they usually put their jungler on like Udyr. So aside from that, like, what do you think pushed the tides in your favor for that game?
I honestly think that in that game, the tides were that I saw that the Evelyn is very easily punishable compared to, I don't know what I exactly draft, but seeing their draft and seeing the weak jungler, I also think that their draft kind of might have messed them up because I saw that the Evelyn wasn't playing as to full potential, which is a little unfortunate, but yeah, I think just seeing that jungle is easily punishable kind of won us that game.
Yeah, I also want to say that for the first game, Zill was having computer troubles, I think, so we had to get Demon
Oh, yeah.
Cheese, who is not
Oh,
a
I
top
do remember
lane main.
hearing about
Yeah, I
that.
remember.
Yeah,
He does
so
not play top.
unfortunate.
Yeah. So the second game we won. I thought that was a pretty good game all around. And then the third game, I think Zill was still having computer troubles, so he had to play with a ton of FPS lag.
Yeah, so instead of like, being able to play like nice games, like if I could summarize my series for EDL, I would just say unlucky because I think out of 80% of the games that I played in EDL, either my campus internet was like completely dog or there was this one match, there's this one match to where I just downloaded the League of Legends like live wallpaper stuff, and I was like, cool, I'm gonna get some nice wallpapers on here. But for some reason, like my computer just does not like that software being on my computer at all. Like I've done it before, and I just forgot about it like a long time ago.
Oh,
But
no.
I had League of Legends live wallpapers, right? And like every 5 seconds, like when the wallpaper would change, like it would make my entire game stutter or freeze. And I think I got picked Shin twice in a row, and I was going up against another enemy top laner, and it's just like unplayable. There was like one point in the game to where I just literally walk into him and die because I couldn't figure out what was going on with my PC. It just kept stuttering, kept freezing. I was like, wow. And I was really upset after
Wow.
that match. And then after that match, I texted in our team chat. I'm like, guys, it was the gosh darn wallpaper for League of Legends that was messing up my game, and
The
it was
wallpapers.
just super unfortunate. It was just
Yeah.
super duper unfortunate. But if I could go back, I would just want to like be able to have like a fair chance against those teams because I think we do have definitely like I think we're able to compete with them. It's just like if I'm being completely honest with you, just from technical issues on my side, whether internet or the whole wallpaper thing that was only bogging me down for one game, I definitely threw like a series or two for the team, which is really unfortunate.
Yeah, I know where you're coming from. Actually, on a team I played on, we were in semis, and then I was playing, with my ADC, and I saw him just like stand there. He wasn't doing anything. He didn't say it. I was like, "Yo, you okay? Like, what's going on?" And then he didn't say anything. He was just standing there, and I was like, "Guys, we need to pause." And then we paused for like over like the team we were playing against were really nice. They let us pause for over the allowed time, so they gave us like 15 minutes. But then he was like, so my ADC was like, my computer's not working, guys. Like, I just, oh no. And then we completely like just lost that first game because we had to continue the game and he didn't come back for another like 10 minutes. So, I mean, I know
Yeah.
where you're coming from. It's unlucky. I mean, we also got 3-0'd anyways, so what did it matter?
Yeah, I got you.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, but otherwise, like, yeah, we'll go back to your series. So after that, you guys lost. Yeah, I don't know. Like, when I'm looking at your record, too, you guys were really back and forth. It was like you won the first week, you lost the second week, and you got really close the third week. And then the fourth week, you guys 2-0'd Subversive. And then the last week, so the previous last week, you guys lost again. So do you guys think that you're having issues with just consistency in general?
I think a lot of it comes back to like this the purpose that they said, mind you, again, I was an E sub pulled into the team after one good week. They were coming into this thinking like this was, IBS practice. They really like the league, but like they were coming into this with the mindset like this is practice. And we didn't have that, I think, to start with. It took us forever to actually start getting practice together, getting to know each other even, and getting to know like play styles and everything. So I think
I
Yeah.
believe it took us after week 3 is the first time we ever practiced.
yeah, so
Like
You guys didn't even
genuinely
like
had a practice
scrim
time.
or
Nope,
No.
nothing.
Yeah. So with our teams, the way that it ended up panning out, the team that is competing in ZGG, which is me and Scruffo, and I think our mid laner was competing in ZGG, and he ended up getting subbed out further down the road. But anyways, he was competing in ZGG as well as EDL. I was competing in ZGG as well as EDL, and so was Scruffo. So it's just like the only difference in our like roster changes was our support for ZGG was different because Mystic is subbing for FTD, so we can't have her be on our team for the main roster for this split. So the main difference was like that, and then Potter also was jungle, and I actually started off as a jungle player for the very beginning of like ZGG. It was like a little weird because I was top, and then I went jungle, and now I'm back in top for ZGG. So I'm like kind of like just switching between roles kind of bit, and just being in the position to practice per se. Like everybody's got packed schedules. I mean, on the side, I do quite a bit with my free time, and I do a bunch of different stuff. So everybody's got packed schedules. So when we found a time to be able to quote unquote practice, it was more like, okay, this is right now it's a ZGG practice, and EDL will do flex after, or EDL will do flex here. And we built synergy through flex games, but we didn't really have a lot of time to do fully set up like 3 block scrims for EDL. And I think a lot of that was because we just had shared rosters between the two teams, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that was
makes
kind of
sense,
like
yeah.
my take on it.
no,
Yeah.
absolutely. Like I said, my
Mhm.
schedule was as far as FTD goes and ZGG, I do a lot with them. So coming over and trying to do stuff with Rev could be tedious and exhausting because that's like all of my free time.
Yeah, I have so much respect for people who are like on more than one team at a time. I can't. I can barely handle one. I can barely handle EDL. Let's hope Clutch isn't listening.
He pops it in here.
So
Oh no.
it's just like super
Write
busy.
down the notes.
Oh no.
Because originally I played for the gold team for Rev for a little bit, and then I told Tax, I was like, listen, I can't play for gold and silver. I just can't handle it. And so I went back to silver and just played for their roster. And then like I also do like stuff with colleges and stuff on the outside as well, regarding League of Legends and stuff. So it's just like all jumbled all into one. It's kind of a mess, but
Okay. Yeah, I understand. It's like, I mean, I don't know if you guys came into the whole league thinking you're just gonna win. Like, I mean, there are other teams that I can think of that are like, we're here to win. But I'm seeing that there are still teams like you and I would even say Subversive and MIT who are just kind of we're just kind of like putting these rosters together, but like, we're here. I mean, Subversive did come in as a rookie team, like as a whole, but you know what I mean. Like they're just here to kind of practice.
yeah, for sure. I think in the beginning when we started talking about like what we wanted as a team and stuff, I think and I can be corrected by this from everybody else if need be, but I think we really did want to have a chance of making playoffs for EDL, and we really wanted to be able to compete for the EDL championship. Like that was on our goal list. It wasn't just like, yeah, we're just gonna queue up and have fun with it and stuff like that. That was something that we really wanted to do. So like I would say like further on past like week 2, probably we would all like try to get as many flex games or solo duo queue games with each other as much as possible outside of the um, GGG circuit. And I think we were all shooting that for a goal. It's just, unfortunate how things turned out. And then I wasn't available to compete in a few, which is also kind of rough, but that's
Yeah,
kind of like
yeah.
our overall goal of what we wanted.
I don't blame you guys either because with how short the season was and we have so few teams, the tiebreaker that it came down to between you, Burger Flip, and MIT was really, really unlucky.
Yeah, it was close though. We were watching that last game, and like even the tiebreaker was close, but the series was really close too.
Yeah, that's why like it was on stream and I was like, man, get me out. But it was like you guys were, I think it was one number off. I don't remember the exact. Yeah, no, Clutch had to like explain it to me, and he pits the teams against each other like and checks their game differentials. And then Burger Flip had +1, you guys were -1, and then Monkeys in Training had flat 0 for like those, and he was looking at those numbers. So again, it was like, oh, that's so unlucky. If you guys picked up just like maybe like 1 or 2 more wins and like another, like it was so close. So yeah, and I really did think that going into the season, like you guys were definitely on the higher ends of my kind of just power rankings and overall just strength. But
Yeah, I think we could have probably picked a little bit more up had we been able to find that time together, be able to do things. Because again, this is it was kind of a weird way to have the team set up with coming in randomly, and then um we tried new things here and there, and where we would have been able to do that in practice, we actually had to do that in our game because we really weren't used to each other. But
mhm.
no, it really is unfortunate, but I mean, we're gonna come back strong. We'll do it again.
Yeah, I guess that leads into my next
Absolutely.
question. Like, what do you guys think? Like, is the team just kind of gonna split? Or are you guys gonna try and stick together, stick around?
As for Revolution, going into say like EDL for next split, I think it's something that a lot of us enjoyed and wanted to do. I think our approach on it overall, going into next split, is going to be one that's a little bit more serious and thought out.
Mm-hmm.
We already I talked to a lot of the owners of Rev, like Tex and Doc, a lot about like what their thoughts are of why we're having such a tough split or a tough season, and what we need to do to improve on that for the future. And I think a lot of it was just roster solidification and being able to get an identity with both rosters, because just being like completely transparent. Like even our ZGG roster changes almost every week. Like we have one player quit or another player comes in and then ranks out, or somebody ends up getting their account boosted somehow, and then
Yeah. Yeah.
they get found out, and then they get kicked out, and it's just
And
a
then
lot
that
of
screws your whole
destabilization right
season.
now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And it's just a lot of destabilization. I think once we find, okay, these are the guys that we're gonna have on the roster. These are our availabilities, and that's something that we can commit to. Revolution's going to turn out to be a really, really strong team coming into both ZGG and the EDL split that we're going to be competing in next season for sure.
Ooh, I'm excited because yeah, like I said earlier, I definitely think you guys are really up there. Like you guys had a strong start to the season. I saw so much just I don't know talent already and potential. So it is a bit unlucky, again, it's short season. You didn't really have time to quite, solidify, put the pieces together. But yeah, I'm glad to hear you guys are looking to come back next season. I don't know exactly, so I probably even shouldn't say because Clutch will probably listen and then yell at me for saying something wrong. So, um, yeah, we're definitely looking into getting more teams.
It'll be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess another question I have for you guys would be, what do you think? Okay, if you had to pin it down to just one kind of mistake you guys are making a lot as a team that cost you playoffs, what would you say it is?
Oh, Potter, you got this one. You got this one.
I thought you were gonna say it's
Wait,
Potter.
what?
Potter's the mistake.
Yeah, totally, 100%. I think the big mistakes were finding availability for games and having the time to like come at the approach of like how we define ourselves as a team. Because in week one, we defined ourselves as like, oh, we're gonna carry through Zilliek. Zillek's gonna just dominate the whole map if we can. But due to just the rosters having e-subs, the problems with our internet and stuff like that, those kind of mess us up, especially with like schedule changes, not having time to like practice really kind of scuffed us over. But having any time to play was a big deal, as said previously. But the biggest problem, in my opinion, was just not having time to practice, and really just that's about it.
Yeah.
Ouch.
If I could build on that too, if I could branch off to end game problems, I think our biggest end game problem was like we just play like pretty much like murder hobos. Like that's the terminology for D&D.
Oh,
That's
what?
the terminology for D&D when all you want to do is get in there and get kills and just kill everything.
Yeah.
That's why I use that terminology. But like we kind of just like played like that quite a bit. Like we'd zone them off perfectly on Drake. We'd take the Drake, and instead of being like, okay, we took Drake, let's go back to lane and farm, or let's take our resets,
Nope.
we're like, fight, let's go, kill them,
Go
we
in!
gotta take somebody out. And then it would just be like, wow, like how did we get wiped there? And then like
Oh, there goes our
coach-
lead.
our coach would be face
Yeah.
palming,
Yeah.
and it's just like the meme, just like it's like a Twitter meme that I saw. It's like when TSM is 2K gold behind, they look for a fight so they can, because they're only at a slight disadvantage. And it was just like when TSM is 8K gold behind, they seek out a fight because they have to make like a desperate play to get back in the game. I was like, that's literally like our play style, and I think that comes from, for me, playing both jungle and top lane role, and just being verbal in general. I'm a very impulsive decision maker. Like if I make a decision, whether it's a good or bad one, I'm like, boom, decision made. We full commit to that. And I think
Yeah.
that got us killed quite a bit. And Potter does
Yeah,
the same.
I was about to say.
You remind me of an old jungler
I've had
I
to
used
pull him
play
back a
with.
couple of
Yup.
times.
Yeah.
I've had to hold Zill back on his calls a little bit. Sometimes he's
Yeah.
made very impulsive calls.
Yeah.
Because
you
like for
remind
one
me just-
instance,
Mhm.
I
No, go ahead.
remember. I don't remember if this was. I don't remember which game this was, but there was a Drake steal, I believe, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna go in for the Drake. Leave me to die. I get the Drake for free." And then Zill's like, "Nope, we fight," and just everybody runs in to
It
die.
was literally like the Drake was gone, Potter was dead, and Zill is screaming, "Go in, go in!"
Oh.
We're all just wiped, and Potter's like, "I was just trying to die for the Drake."
A lot of the time,
I'm like, we
a
get
lot of the
soul
time-
point here.
a lot of the time when I'd make those calls too, I didn't really like hold the tab key and like see the rest of the map. So I'd be like doing really, really good in top lane, and I'd be like, okay, yeah, we got this humongous lead, guys. And then like we'd be like getting demolished in like mid or bot. And
Oops.
I'd be like, let's fight. And then I was like, how did we lose that? I thought we were so far ahead. And that was just me being a forehead, not really paying attention to what else is going on, just top lane island, But yeah, that's some fun. We like to make fun of each other like that a lot when we play flex, but it's kind of funny. Yeah.
That's the limit testing, honestly.
Yeah, just limit
Yeah.
testing.
It really reminds me of an old jungler I used to play with. He just loved just invading. He was like, okay, I'm invading. I'm like, wait, we don't have prio in any lane. Where are you going? And it's
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and communicating that is important.
I'm
too.
gonna
Like,
just
that was
walk out
something-
now.
That's something I've been working on, trying to get better at, like communicating like lane states and how we're doing in the game, so people don't wait for information. So I think that was something I could definitely improve on in next split.
Yeah, trust me, in plat, no one knows what they're doing.
Wait, what?
No one knows what they're
Wait
doing.
a minute.
I played in plat leagues, so, but I'm just saying that like no one knows what they're doing. It's just we're just here. Somehow we're plat because flip the right teammates, I guess.
for sure.
So, tip to climb: find good teammates. Got it.
Exactly.
Find good mates.
Play
Easy.
That's about
play a
it.
cool champion called Rakan. I think you'll climb.
I love Rakan.
Me too.
I don't
That's-
pull him out very often
Rakan's fun.
because I don't trust Scruffo. No offense. With Rakan.
Let's be real. We don't trust Scruffo when you're playing Rakan.
That's the reason we don't trust him. Hmm
We don't trust that guy. He's sus.
He's
I mean,
sus.
I did rocket jump into a Lowy like 2 times.
Yeah, we saw that game, Scruffo.
True.
That's me whenever I
Ooh.
see Tactical play Tristana. Like, does he?
Yes.
Who's on his account? Like, whenever he plays Tristana, like, who is on his account? Like, honestly,
It's Scruffo. It's Tactical
Scruffo.
It's
Scruffo.
it's him on his account. Yeah, I can see
He
that.
just loves
happening.
jumping in.
No, but all
I mean-
jokes aside, like I think everybody, including Scruffo, we all have like decisions that we're like, wow, why the hell did I do that? And I
Yeah.
think that's across the board a little bit. And but
Yeah.
I think as like a team, being able, especially like just looking for the future and looking for next split and stuff, it's just like I think once we get more time to play as a team and work with each other as individuals, a lot of those like mistakes that would be made or like brain farts or whatever is going to get cleaned up, and we're going to look really, really strong with consistency.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, and I'm excited to see you guys again. Honestly, like, I'm excited to see a lot of teams again next split, and we'll see new teams and stuff. But I guess finishing off this season for EDL, obviously in playoffs we have Chicago Dragons, MIT on one side of the bracket, and on the other side we have CB Rookies and Burger Flip Esports. I'm gonna just quickly ask you guys for your predictions for both of those matches. So, I mean, we'll start again
Alright.
with Lespanx, actually, with Scruffo.
For me, I think Chicago or Chubby Babies probably would be the 2 best teams. I think both of their bot lanes are good, but they just have good players everywhere, and they play
Mhm.
pretty well together.
Okay, what about you, Mystic? Who do you think is going up against each other in the finals?
I actually very much see Chicago Dragons going to the end of it just because they did so well. I felt like playing against them, they were super clean. Even in the game that we won, game 2, they still felt like they knew what they were doing together. And even when they felt like they might have been inting a little bit, they still were able to kind of accommodate for that player. And the honest to goodness, just the fact that they're in it just for the fun of it and enjoying each other's presence, I feel strongly about them. But then I'm actually gonna have to say that it'll probably be MIT. Little bias there, just because I've seen them play so much in ZGG, and I've watched them stomp my FTD team so many times.
Yeah.
But no, I think that when MIT cleans their stuff up, they're clean and they're a force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, I mean, MIT is still, like, the only team to have taken a game off of CB Rookies. Or not a game, sorry, a series off of CB Rookies. So, yeah, I mean, MIT, I agree with you. They're a really good team, and I could see... I mean, obviously, that was a matchup we've seen already. Chicago Dragons and MIT, where Chicago Dragons, it was their last week. So it's just a repeat, actually, of their 5th week. So Chicago Dragons did 2-0 MIT, but I don't know. I'm thinking that MIT maybe's learned from their mistakes, and they're going to be able to pull ahead in this series. But
I think we'll see them together again. I'm not going to put any bets on who will win, but I
Wait,
think
is
we'll see them again.
Is Crockpot still
No,
playing?
Crockpot's gone. Crockpot's gone.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay, then. What do you think about the other side of the bracket between CB Rookies and Burger Flip? Is it kind of just a no-brainer?
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, for me, I think we'll see CB Rookies come out on top there. Burger Flip does a really nice job. It looks like they have a lot of fun on the Rift and stuff. But I think CB Rookies, just the way that they play, so clean. They know what they're doing. They look
Definitely
like
why they've
experts in the
been-
field.
Honestly, yeah, there's a reason why they've been just winning for so long. It took them so long to lose, so. Okay, and then we'll go to Potter and then Zill.
I think for the upper or from CBR versus BFE, I think CBR is going to win in that situation. It's kind of in my opinion, I think CB looks like a very strong team right now. But on the other side, Chicago versus MIT, we've kind of already seen how that matchup goes because of last week. I really think Chicago will win that, but I think overall, I think CBR should win off coming in first place. Just because of the fact that we played against Chicago and CBR, and I honestly think CBR did a much better job handling us.
Mm-hmm. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. And then last but not least, we have Zill.
Yeah, it's pretty much like just recycling everything that everybody else says. I think so this is like just based off stuff that I've heard, and based off of like what I've played against a little bit. I think the best individually skilled players are on the CB rookies roster. I mean, like just across the board, I think they all do really, really decent within their respective roles. I think the best respective synergistic team in the circuit right now, based off of everything that I've heard, is Chicago Dragons. Like again, like starting off kind of like rough or whatever, and moving into like roster that's like used to playing with each other. Like they're able to maneuver, and if they play together better as a team and they don't get completely just stomped in lane, I think they have a chance of beating and winning over CB rookies overall. Between like BFE and CB rookies, obviously I'm a little bit more favored towards CB rookies just because I think having those really strong players in each of their respective roles is really important. But BFE, I still think I think BFE's mental overall is a little bit better based off of hearsay of what I've heard of CB rookies. Like, there's a few players on the roster that, yeah, there's like certain players, I'm not going to name names, that can get mentally boomed and kind of play worse. But I think that's like the only chance that BFE has against CB rookies is if they're able to set up one lane for lane dominance, kind of like what we did against BFE for top lane, and just like tilt somebody off the wall and
Yeah.
Tilt the shot callers, you win games.
True. If you know who's making all the plays and you shut them down, that's honestly like, you're just playing to your strengths and playing against theirs. So it's a very
for sure.
valid
So
strategy.
That's kind of, yeah, even though it's not necessarily like a quote unquote meta strategy, like, it's like a cheese strat.
Anything can happen in IBS. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But that's kind of like what I've observed based off of what I've heard people talk about certain teams and working with a few of the players and going up against a few of them as well.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I agree with everything you guys have said. I don't know what my exact thoughts are either going into the whole playoff bracket. I'm not gonna lie. So when I made that graphic, I actually made it like the morning before CB rookies actually announced who they picked. I was like, there's no way they pick MIT. They lost to MIT. And then they got announced, and I was like, all right, I don't have to do anything. And I just gave it to Clutch, and I was like, okay, here you go post this. So, I mean, yeah, it's exciting to see. And what do you guys think about the All-Stars week as well? I do remember pretty much, I think all of you guys were almost running in the All-Stars, but I don't think any of you are in the All-Stars.
I am.
Give me the update on All Stars. I haven't been. I know that I was on the vote for it, but I don't think I got in. But I don't know like
none of us actually made it.
Yeah, which is
none
why
of us
I'm really
made it,
surprised. Because
Clutch did message me and asked me if I can play in the All Stars games. So I don't know which side I'm playing for, but I am playing.
Sad.
Fun fact.
I'm glad Clutch told me that because he didn't. So.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad you're playing Potter.
Well then.
No, because I was also just gonna mention because like I remember when the staff and I were trying to narrow down to 3 players, like everyone on your team came up a lot. Obviously, I'm only one person out of like 4, but yeah, we talked about like all your players, and it's a bit unfortunate. It's the majority vote, so. But a lot of you did get into the top 3, which is why I'm a little disappointed you guys didn't make playoffs, because like I really thought you guys were just a lot better than some of the other teams in the league.
Yeah, if we had a full roster,
A lot of instability caused a
Yeah.
lot of
Yeah.
problems for us.
Listen, I'm gonna talk to my school and I'm say, hey, if you don't get this internet figured out, man, and you throw another one of my games, I'm just
I'm
kidding.
gonna be
just kidding.
honest.
Totally discussion, but
It was genuinely a little bit frustrating playing against some of these teams and losing, like knowing that we can win. Just the fact that, like, in some cases where we played against like teams that we knew we can win against, it was just like, oh, we have an E-sub. It's like, oh god, shit. What do we do now? This type of thing. Like, it was a little bit frustrating losing against like MIT because honestly, I'm gonna voice my opinions here. I think we could have beat MIT, but just not having practice
100%.
time was a
Yeah,
little bit
no, there
off.
was a total
It's
reason
just-
why it was so favored towards you guys going into it.
It was just coming off of week one, such a dominant week one, and just not being able to even pick off a game off MIT in week two was a little bit frustrating for me personally.
I think also like just the like more analytic stuff. I think the meta for League in general kind of fell out of favor for our team's playstyle. So like Potter, he's really good at like skirmishy 1v1 junglers. Like his Graves is super duper good.
Preach,
And then
brother.
I'm good at like 1v1 like skirmish like top laners. And the meta kind of shifted to like tank junglers like Udyr, Skarner, Hecarim, stuff like that. And kind of made it to where Graves couldn't be runnable. So a lot of that for what we drafted, and we started drafting like a lot more like weak side top laners like tanks and stuff. And then we do like a strong side every once in a while. Kind of like we drafted Shen twice, which for me as a player, like I'm okay with Shen and whatnot, but he doesn't really go with like the synergistic play style. And I think a lot of us relying early on jungle top synergy and like kind of like lane dominance and being able to drag that into the rest of the game for a lead while we're playing more like safe bot and stuff. I think just the meta overall kind of fell out of our favor, which is kind of unfortunate.
Yeah, I understand. It's
So
like I don't
one
see a lot
thing
of
I
other
would
teams
like to
playing
bring
on
up.
top, but sorry, you go ahead.
One thing I do want to bring up, what Zil said with Graves, I think game one against Submersive, I think that was like my highlight in EDL right now with Drake and Baron Steel. But I think Graves into some matchups is really, really phenomenal. And like Zil said, it's just the meta kind of messed us up a little bit with our drafts.
Yeah, I mean, I know what you guys are talking about and where you're coming from. I mean, why I also did like you guys coming into the season was, I saw you guys play around your top laner, and there aren't honestly, like, I don't think there are really any other teams that do that, except, I mean, Chicago Dragons does give their top laners carries, but otherwise I'm seeing just like they just go on tank duty, and I mean, while that's still like not a bad thing, it's I like to see some mix up, some variation. So but yeah, I mean, we are kind of getting to the end of time here, so if you guys have any questions for me or closing remarks, this is your chance.
I really enjoyed playing in the league. It's been a lot of fun. You guys do a good job, so I was pretty happy to be here.
Oh, that's
He's
wholesome.
just happy that he got intro. Because I'm the highlight of his day. Outside of his fiance.
Yeah, I got to play with Mystic in EDL, so that was good too.
No, honest to goodness, this was actually a super fun league. And even though it was as short as it was, I thought it was really, really well put together, and it felt solid. It felt clean and clear cut, and it didn't feel like it was an overly toxic environment. So I think we'll see the return.
I hope
The
so,
return
yeah.
plays.
That's wholesome. I like it. Yeah, I mean, the whole league is just kind of us being, I don't know, how I went into with content-wise and like with these podcasts, even just interview sessions. It was just something I wish I was able to have when I was still playing competitive. I don't know, maybe you'll see me back in the Plat Leagues next split. We'll see. Who knows?
Do it up.
Yeah. I mean, it was great talking to you guys. But yeah, I'm pretty sure we're kind of at the end of our time here today. So, yeah, I hope to see you guys next split. I'm sorry I couldn't get to you guys earlier in the season either, but that is okay.
There's only one team a week.
Yeah,
all
That's
good.
all good. Not a problem.
hopefully
Don't
we'll see
worry
you
about
guys
it.
again next split, and I'll put you guys in earlier, and then we'll be able to talk more
Hey.
then. But yeah,
No,
everyone-
we
Yeah,
want
let me
we want
get-
the end next split too, because then we can talk when we're going to playoffs. So
Oh,
Yeah.
true.
Yeah,
Okay.
true.
Okay, I like it. But yeah, I mean, I hope to see you guys again next season. And yeah, it was really great. Like I'm really thankful to all the teams that were able to join and play in these just few weeks. It was really great, and yeah, it was a really fun time. And I hope to see you guys again soon.
I
Alright.
would like to
Absolutely. Thank you
end
so much
off
for your
with
time.
one
Thank you.
statement.
Sorry.
Yeet.
Okay.
I would like to end off with one statement. Yeet.
Yeah, just ignore him. You're good. You can cut it.
Then don't worry about it.
okay, she can edit that out.
Okay. I could, but I don't know.
Come
if I
on,
should. All
I
right.
Alright.
just want to yeet.
All right. We'll
Thank you
end
for
it
having
here.
us.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out.